Well, you got to be mindful that you can't just put, too much on one guy. I mean, he leads not just by example, but he makes sure those guys get up, they watch film. Um, I think, personally, there's not much more that he can do, you know, other than, hey, stay positive, stay strong, continue to do what you're doing. Obviously, when you're in the midst of a losing streak or a slump, frustration has a chance to set in. But I think the guy's attitudes, Josh specifically, has remained positive. Has a forward-thinking mindset. If we get punched, we get back up and we keep swinging. And so, I think him and several of the seniors are doing just that. So, really couldn't ask more of him.
John Hale.
Brad, when we talked to Mark on Monday, he said obviously there wasn't a lot of positive from the defensive performance, but maybe the corners didn't play as bad as it looked on initial, just in live the game. What did you see from that group in particular? And then just the issues in the secondary as a whole when they put up passing numbers like that? What was going on?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the corners competed. Other than the one that that was the one on Carrington on the double move, and he probably should have been off instead of pressed to start, but he competed. They're gonna make some of those plays, but I thought some of the other ones were contested. Forced some incompletions. Out of the corner spot. So really, when you look at the film, like, it's really, for those guys, I thought they played well. Especially Carrington and Quandre. From as far as the passing numbers, obviously the first one, stems from the very first play of the game. At the end of the day, if we leverage the football correctly, and we make a tackle, it's a 3-yard gain, not a 75-yard gain. So, sometimes passing numbers can be deceiving. I mean, where is the ball caught? They had, essentially, that was nothing but a screen pass, and now, right now, it went for 14. So, again, just to pin it solely on the secondary, I think, would be unfair. Now, that the third down, I'd love to have that call back. I changed calls when I went to timeout, and those are the ones that you struggle sleeping at night. I should have just stayed with my original call. We could have played it better, execution wise, but regardless, that's a call I probably shouldn't make right there. But safety wise, I just, we need to play better there. That was probably the one position that we didn't play as well as maybe we have during the season. But when you give up, those explosives in the pass game, the numbers look really bad.
Adam.
Brad, it seemed like Vito Tisdale and Jalen Geiger played most they had all year on Saturday. Moving forward, is that a thing where you're all going to try to get them in more, or is it still you got to ride with your guys that are ahead of them on the depth chart?
No, I think this is we say from the beginning, we're going to put the best guys on the field, in that situation that we feel are going to help us win. And so it's an ever-evolving sort of depth chart, and sometimes you got to play the hot hand during the day. Sometimes some guys are playing well, sometimes guys aren't. So that'll be a continual evaluation. But those guys did show up and made some plays, and they'll continue to find their way on the field. But they have to continue to play at a high level to stay there. I mean, again, every week we evaluate, and then we try to get the best guys on the field that can help us win.
Josh.
Brad, we've seen Garrett progress the last few games. that you, you, you're coming back from is kind of tough. At a place.
Josh, you're cutting
Josh,
in
you're
and
cutting
out.
out, bud.
Sorry, yeah, I'm driving. Y'all took a little longer than I was expecting.
Gotcha.
With with Eric back, is he actually available, or is that just kind of sort of dressed sidelines?
Josh, send it to me in the chat, bud, or we'll call on you again in just a second. We'll try to get you in a better spot.
Okay.
Nick,
Brad, how do you just keep morale high among your group after having a couple of games where things haven't gone well for the defense?
I mean, the big thing that everybody preaches within this building is, that's going to be life. I mean, there are going to be times which you're at the highest of highs, and then there are going to be times in your life that you're in some real lows. And if you ride that roller coaster and emotionally you go way up here and life is great, and then listen, we just got to try to keep an even keel and just keep plugging forward and focusing on the on the next practice, the next day. Don't be thinking way out in advance. And I think our guys, that have been in this building long enough, they realize that. The emotion and the excitement and jubilation of Florida and LSU, to these last couple of weeks, it's a huge difference. But it's just right. A humble pie is right around the corner, but the chance to have a jubilant locker room is right around the corner too, and it's about how you react to it. And our guys, I think they understand that. They've worked hard. They stay focused this week, and so we're looking forward to getting some bad taste out of our mouth. These last couple of performances, and play good football on Saturday.
Coach, Josh was trying to ask about De'Aaron Jackson and where he's at. Is he at a spot where he can help, or is he just kind of getting acclimated back because that injury is so difficult to rehab from?
Yeah, he's sort of in that acclimation period right now, getting back in. So we'll see how that goes.
Lonnie?
Yeah, Brett.
Oh, you went to mute, Lonnie.
It appears that sometimes, unless it's my imagination, but it looks like to me that your team is playing harder, and they playing like they're leaving it all out on the field, trying, in that urgency mode. Is it that they're not looking to get calls from the sideline and they just playing football, or am I accurate in saying that?
Yeah, you know what? They're playing really hard. The effort is not sort of in question, especially last week. Maybe 2 weeks ago, there were some moments in time that we had to have a heart-to-heart as a defense. But I thought last week, they competed their tails off. It's hard to overcome the explosives that we had. As far as getting lined up, getting the call. There needs to be a continued urgency, especially when you play a team like we did last week with that extreme tempo. We knew going in, how fast it would be. But again, it's like anything else in life. Until you really experience it, you don't realize how fast it is. Then you put sort of the taxation sort of on your lungs, and then you have to look over. And there was a time or two, like when they looked over, a few, just when you're on the opposite side of the field and there's such tempo, sometimes it's hard to always catch the signal perfectly. And in a normal situation without tempo, you can ask a teammate and they can get you filled in. Well, when they stress you with that much, you don't have time. Those were issues that, we'll need to continue to get addressed. And we look at all aspects of that to try to make it as easy for our guys as possible. Some of it is the nature of that tempo.
Adam,
Brad, Katie McDaniel's got in the game last couple weeks in your position room. How's his development going? And how do you think he did the last 2 weeks when y'all called upon him?
You know what? I think he's doing okay. He needs to continue to progress. You know, he's made strides enough that you know we feel like we can put him in the game, and you know, and he'll execute the defense called. But as we progress, you know, it's got to be more than just executing the defense. You know, we've got to be able to make plays. So you know, there's plenty of room to grow there.
all right, we'll wrap up with Jeff, and then while we're waiting on Jeff, Josh also asked, has Mark One practice this week?
You know, coach talks to, you know, about those kind of things, and so we'll stay with Vandy.
That was going to be my question for you, Brad. Vandy, I know this sounds like one of those concentrate on ourselves kind of week and get better in those terms, but what does Vandy present to you as a challenge this week? And as I understand it, a couple of maybe different styles it looks from the quarterbacks.
Yeah, you know, obviously from a challenge standpoint, you know, you know, they're a very disciplined football team. You know, they understand, you know, what they're trying to get accomplished, you know, from a scheme standpoint. You know, the two quarterbacks, you know, always presents a challenge, you know, especially when they sort of differ in styles, one being a little bit more of a thrower, one being a little bit more of a runner. You know, so obviously, you know, that presents a challenge in terms of game planning, in terms of, you know, essentially having a different, you know, set of calls at times. And within a game week, you only have a limited number of reps that you can practice as it is. And so when you're essentially practicing for two different situations, it creates a challenge there. I think the receivers do a nice job, you know, of being strong, you know, at the catch point. The running backs run hard downhill. Obviously, Mike Wright can do some really special things with his legs, extend plays, which allows receivers, you know, in a broken play situation to find themselves, get open. So, you know, he can stress you there. And then and Seals does a nice job, you know, when he's back there in the pocket. You know, obviously we saw him last year just as a freshman, and you know, he can throw the ball around. He throws a nice ball. It's catchable. So obviously to play good ball, but at the end of the day, you know, when you look over these last couple weeks, and then you know, the weeks before that, it's got less to do with the offense, you know, and nothing to take away from any of the offenses we've played. It's when we play good defense, it's because we're executing what we need to do. We're physical, we're fast, we're playing with our hands, we're tackling, we're communicating. When we haven't played well in this little stretch, you know, there are lapses. Now, it's not every play, but the thing in football is, hey, listen, it only takes 5 or 6 or 7 plays to change a game. And so we have got to do it more consistently. And, you know, we pride ourselves on that. That's been our standard here. And we will not lower that. And so I think our guys, myself included, the staff, we're itching to get back out because we understand at the end of the day, you're judged on what you put on film. And no matter how hard you practice, no matter how hard you prepare, it's what's on film that counts, and we need to put some better stuff on film. All good?
Good. Yep, all good. We're good, Coach. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yep.